Welcome to Jets Overtime, presented by Nissan. Eric Allen inside the BetMGM studios. The New York Jets drop a heartbreaker 28-24 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at MetLife Stadium today. The Jets actually had a 24-10 lead in the second half, but Tom Brady put on the cape. Rookie quarterback Zach Wilson had perhaps his best professional performance for the green and white, but it was Brady who had the final words today. 18 consecutive points, including a touchdown pass to Cyril Grayson with 15 seconds on the clock as we bring in Eric Coleman. This one was as tough as it gets because the Jets were game throughout. It looked like they were going to continue that streak against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers up until today. They had never lost at home to the Buccaneers, but Brady again found the late magic.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game plan by the Jets. I thought offensively, Coach LaFleur had a great game plan. You know, they were motioning. They did a lot of ghost motion. They kept that man-to-man defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on their heels from the jump. I thought the offensive line did an excellent job protecting Zach Wilson, blocking in the run game. Braxton Berrios was phenomenal all day. The defense played lights out. It was just a great performance by the team, and it was a shame that it had to end the way that it did with Tom Brady driving down the field and scoring that touchdown. But that's been the story for a lot of people playing against Tom Brady these last 20 years.
That scoring drive was 93 yards in all. Let's go to the fourth quarter. The Jets up 24-20. They got a decision to make. 4th and 2 from the 7. Robert Saleh elects to go for it. What did you think of the call? And then can you take us through the process of Zach Wilson having an option there? Because Robert Saleh said after the game, this loss was on us as a coaching staff. We got to clearly communicate things better to our players.
Well, I do love the fact that the team went for it on 4th and 2. You're going against the defending champs, arguably the greatest player ever. You have an opportunity to keep it out of his hands, keep the ball out of his hands. And if you get that first down, the play call had a couple of different options to a quarterback sneak or hand it to Braxton Berrios. And, it was unfortunate that they went with the quarterback sneak. It was said by Coach Saleh that it was a miscommunication, that it was supposed to be handed off to Braxton Berrios. And that could be the coaches trying to take some of that off the young quarterbacks, take some off of his plate. But I think it definitely should have been handed off to Braxton Berrios. He's been having a great game up to then. He's been playing out of his mind. So it's really unfortunate, but that's how the game goes. It's about communication, execution, and unfortunately, it goes down to the last play sometimes, and that's what happened with the Jets.
Much more on that coming up. Zach Wilson had one of his best professional performances today, throwing for 234 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. That is 4 consecutive games, no interceptions for the rookie signal caller. The voice of the Jets, Bob Wischusen, talked to him after the game.
Zach, look, I know there aren't moral victories in this league. Having said that, though, maybe wide-angle lens, not just today, but the last month or so since you've come back from injury. I would have to think you feel like you've taken a step forward and the guys around you have taken a step forward with you. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and that's the goal. I mean, that's the mindset every single week is, we're working for something more than just this game this year. We're working for the future. So, we can't hang our heads low from this. I mean, it does suck. It hurts, especially because we had it, right there. But, the guys got to keep their chin up and understand we're getting better. We're on the right path, and we just got to keep working, keep doing our thing, and things will take care of themselves.
How hard is that to do, though, when you lose a game like that?
It's tough, man. It's really tough. But I promise you, being in that situation, how many learning experience there was, for me, having to manage the clock, the situation, the field position, all the different things. And then also our defense on that last drive, how they can be better and improve right there as well. A lot of good learning. That's just going to make us better in the long run.
I know the fans will want to hear your take on going forward on 4th and yard and a half or so and the decision to quarterback sneak. Was that your call? Is that a call with the coaches as well? And thinking about the decision to make that play call in that spot.
Yeah, we had pretty much 2 different plays in one. And, I thought that's what the defense was giving me at the time based on my parameters. And so we gave it a go, and unfortunately we came up short. It's always easy in hindsight and after the fact to say, oh, you know what, you guys didn't get it. Why didn't you kick it? Why didn't you, call something else? Why didn't you hand it there? Whatever it is, we pick up 2 yards, and everyone's talking about how great of a call it was. I love the aggressiveness of our coaches to go for it there and put that game away. And unfortunately we came up short, but we're going to learn from that.
And one final question, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about Braxton Berrios and your chemistry with him. I mean, you don't have Corey Davis. You don't have Elijah Moore. You lose Michael Carter during the game. You're without basically your entire tight end room, and yet he just keeps on making play after play for you.
Yeah, he's just an absolute baller. I just got all the trust and faith in him, and he's just going to come every single day and do his job. And I just have a lot of trust that he's gonna get open, and he's just a baller. You got to get ballers. You got to get him the ball in those situations.
Zach, thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it. Tremendous effort. I know you came up short, but you guys should be proud with how you played. Thank you.
Thank you.
You are watching Jets Overtime presented by Nissan. There are Zach Wilson's numbers today. That key stat, 0 interceptions. Since returning to action after suffering the PCL sprain, Zach Wilson has accounted for 8 touchdowns. He has just 3 turnovers during that time. He played turnover-free against one of the best defenses in the National Football League today. Bob Wischusen was just talking to him about it. Michael Carter got this game off and running for the Jets with a 55-yard run, but then he had to head off with concussion. You started this game without Corey Davis on injured reserve. Elijah Moore still dealing with the quad, coming off the COVID list. Jamison Crowder out of the lineup. Dan Feeney making his first start at center today for the Jets. Tevin Coleman out of the lineup. And Zach Wilson flourished throughout.
Absolutely. And first of all, that's a credit to the front office, Joe Douglas, and the way that he's brought in these players. Then you talk about Coach Sala and his staff in developing these young players, preparing them to go out here and play and contribute to the game. And then you got to put it on the players. They went out there and performed well. They didn't shy away from it. They're playing the defending champs, and they were throwing punches all game long. And it was just great to see these young players, their confidence. You could see it grow as each quarter went by. The confidence went up. The players were playing well. The offensive line was actually taking the fight to that great defensive line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh. It was really great to see these players step up and play the way they did.
Braxton Berrios today, 8 catches, 65 yards, and he got it in to the end zone on the ground again. He also chipped in 2 carries for 12 yards. And then he is a first alternate to the Pro Bowl as a return man. We got to stop talking of Braxton Berrios in the sense that he's just a returner. He is a multi-purpose weapon who continues to grow.
Absolutely. I mean, and I talk about it all the time. Special teams are a way for players to get opportunities. And Braxton Berrios, when he came into this league, he started as a special teams player, but he developed his skills as a receiver, and you're starting to see his light shine. He's a baller. As my man Zach Wilson just said, he can run the football. He's tough. He's gritty. He can make the tough catches. He can run the intermediate routes. Just a really good football player. Really a special thing that the Jets found. A special player. Not often do you get a guy like Braxton Berrios in your lineup. A guy who's going to be there day in and day out. He's tough. He's gritty, and just an overall very good football player.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens in the offseason with Berrios. Of course, the National Football League and business is always part of this, but Berrios has really developed here with the Jets. And the other thing that I don't buy is that argument on the outside that the Jets don't have any weapons. If anybody watched Elijah Moore this year, or Michael Carter, or Corey Davis early in the season, you're starting to see a foundation. And oh, by the way, how about what they did at the line of scrimmage today? They rushed for 150 yards against the NFL's 3rd-ranked rush defense.
Absolutely. And let's keep that a secret. Let's keep letting that narrative go that the Jets don't have any weapons, because these young players are really starting to develop and gain their confidence and grow into some great players. You see it on the defensive side. Bryce Hall Eccles had a great game today. The defensive line, Jonathan Franklin Myers making a big difference. There's so many players that have contributed. The offensive line doing a great job. this team is sneaking up on people, and they're a team moving forward. They have one more game left against Buffalo, and that's going to be a great test for them as well. But moving forward, as you continue to add pieces, as these players continue to grow and get experience, this is going to be something special. Coach Sala is doing a great job of developing these players, he and his coaching staff, and Joe Douglas just keeps bringing in the talent. They're finding people that they're finding a lot of players that people didn't know about, and they're developing them, and that's how you grow a program, and that's how you get that consistency throughout the years.
One player that I think people knew about was C.J. Mosley, but I don't think they knew what to expect after he basically missed the last 2 years of action. So far this season, C.J. Mosley has 10 games of double-digit tackles. He was a leading tackler again today for the New York Jets with 13 against the Buccaneers. Caroline Hendershot talked to the Jets captain after the game.
Here with Jets linebacker C.J. Mosley. C.J., what was the message from Coach Sala in the locker room after today?
Pretty much that we play with a lot of heart, a lot of passion. No one really flinched. We just got to find a way, to really, finish the team off when we have the chance. Being up 2 possessions, there's a lot of chances there in third and fourth quarter where we could have, really put it to bed. But how football works, everything doesn't go the way you want it to. But we really all, commend each other for, no one flinching, no one having that moment get too big for us. And, people are really out there just trying to execute and play football. So it was, unfortunate how it ended. Brady threw, a great ball. I felt like Elijah was really in a great position to make a play, but, just to work out the way for us.
On that 4th down at the end that you just referenced, what did you see from your vantage point?
I saw the ball go up. All I saw was 3-3 in here, break on the ball at a great angle. If it was at any other spot, it'd probably been an incompletion or, Elijah probably would have got to it. But, like I said, it just didn't work out the way we wanted to. Elijah obviously, felt down about it. But, our guys really, really executed for the most part, played with a lot of heart and passion, and we went down to the wire with them.
A lot of defensive rookies stepped up today. Eccles with the pick, Michael Carter second with the sack. What does this say about the future of this defense?
That is very bright, and there's no ceiling. We have a foundation that we've set. We have a mentality that we set. We talked about ego today, and letting your passion, letting your heart shine on the football field. And what you've seen in the past few games is, everybody's confidence build and keep going up. With plays like that, to end the half and put our offense back in scoring position. You think about I don't want to say his name wrong, but I say Panejo. That big field goal, that was big. So those you don't really think about those things, but if you want to hit that field goal at the end of the half, it would have been a different score, a different game in the fourth quarter. So every little thing matters, and you see our young guys really stepping up and really owning what they have to do.
You've been in this league a long time, and they say you learn something every game. What did you think was your biggest takeaway from this game?
Execution. At the end of the games, tight games like that, 2 minutes is all about execution. Getting that 1 yard, and it was, like I said before, man, it was tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. We know there's no more victories in this league, but at the end of the day, it comes down to execution.
Thanks so much for your time, CJ. We really appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
You were watching Jets Overtime presented by Nissan. Eric Allen inside the BetMGM studios. The final today at MetLife Stadium was the Buccaneers 28, the New York Jets 24. As we bring in Ethan Greenberg, what did you think about what you saw from a number of Jets rookies or young players not named Zach Wilson today?
I feel like it's kind of what we've talked about in the show, or what you and Eric Coleman have talked about. The arrow's pointing up for a lot of these young guys. How about Michael Carter, the running back? The third play from scrimmage, he scampers 55 yards up the home sideline, and then he has to leave the game early with a concussion. Of course, the Jets scored on that possession, but Ty Johnson caught up with Marty Lyons after the game, and he said that he felt Michael Carter was primed for a great game, and we saw that early on here. And then Michael Carter II, you heard Caroline talk about it with C.J. Mosley. He had a sack. Brandon Eccles with the interception, capitalizing on that opportunity. And the Jets are just such a young team right now, EA. I feel like you can point at a lot of different bright spots. I mean, Braxton Berrios is one of them, and you guys were just talking about him developing from a waiver claim special teams player to being a focal point of this offense, especially especially down the stretch here in the 2021 season. I feel like there are a lot of pieces here that you referenced, and I think that today was just exemplifying of the young players playing at a high level. And remember, this goes back to the spring when Robert Saleh said, you got to play the young guys. It might be hell on wheels, but it's fun. And today against the Buccaneers, despite the loss, it sure was fun for these Jets young players.
Now, Greens, how about Kenny Yeboah? The Jets dangerously thin at tight end. He came in and flashed as well.
Not only were the Jets dangerously thin to enter the game, then Dan Brown goes out of the game with a hip injury. Saleh later said it was an ankle injury, so just need some clarification there. We'll get that tomorrow when Robert Saleh addresses the media. But Kenny Yeboah, his first NFL reception came on a key situation, 3rd and 9, gets 12 yards in heavy traffic, and then Zach Wilson later on in the game fires a dart up the seam, 24 yards for Kenny Yeboah on that second reception. And this is a guy who the Jets liked enough to give him a contract as an undrafted free agent out of Ole Miss. He was highly productive in his final season in Mississippi. And then he starts the year on the practice squad after he's a final cut. He gets elevated for the game against the Falcons in London as for his first ever NFL action. And he's just been on the active roster for about a month or so now. And it feels like he finally got his opportunity today. And I'm excited to see what he has to offer next week, especially if Dan Brown can't go next week. I know I'm looking down to week 18 here, but I think that's just another guy, EA, that has grown within the system in his first year, and he stepped up in a big way for the Jets.
Good stuff. Thanks, Ethan. Both teams converted at a very good rate on 3rd down. Zach Wilson, in fact, converted the Jets' first 4 third downs. They finished 6 of 11 overall. Conversely, Tom Brady was getting it done, 9 of 15 overall. Brady throws for 410 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the 1 interception coming from Brandon Eccles, the second-year cornerback. The rookie cornerback coming up with his second career interception. Zach Wilson, 19 of 33, 234 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interception. The 2 quarterbacks who share the same birth date of August 3rd talked after the game.
Playing Zach, great game, man. Good job. Way to go out there. Keep it up. All right.
Here's a little snippet for you. The GOAT. The greatest of all time, Tom Brady, coming to MetLife Stadium, congratulating the rookie, Zach Wilson, on his performance. Zach Wilson, unfortunately, gets the loss today, but he gave a winning effort, no doubt about that. I think it's probably always cool. You're a competitor, but at 22 years old, battling 44-year-old Tom Brady, getting that handshake after the game and getting the validation, too. Hey, listen, kid. You got a chance.
Absolutely. And please believe Zach Wilson was doing his best to go out there and get the better of Tom Brady and had a valiant effort today. I thought Zach played amazing, and it has to feel good going against a guy who you grew up idolizing. I know how I felt when I played against Jerry Rice when he came to the Meadowlands when I was a rookie. It was just amazing. I grew up watching him. It was great to play against him, but at the same time, I wanted to take his head off. So I know Zach Wilson probably had the same sentiments. He wanted to get the best of Tom Brady, and he put up a great effort today. Unfortunately, it fell a little bit short.
Can we talk about how decisive he is and how calm he's become in the pocket? I think of a couple occurrences there in the second half. The Buccaneers got some pressure up the middle, and the Jets are trying to set up a screen to Ty Johnson. And I think weeks ago, you would have seen Zach Wilson bail on a play. Instead, he just backpedaled smoothly, calmly, and then nice touch pass to Ty Johnson who converts. Very next play, we see the rope. We see the arm strength. It's just a cannon over the middle to Keelan Cole.
Yeah, that was exciting to see him throw that strike through the middle of the field to Keelan Cole. He threw a couple of those where he just let it rip, and they were accurate, perfect placement, just doing a great job. But that just shows his confidence. The game is starting to slow down for him. He's starting to understand what's in front of him, and really just trusting his athleticism and his eyes when he's in that pocket. But you got to give a lot of credit to that offensive line. They did a great job of protecting him, playing against an aggressive defense, the most aggressive defense in the NFL. They kept Zach Wilson fairly clean for the most part. So I just big shout out to the offensive line, but I can't say enough about Zach Wilson and in the way that he's continued to grow.
Yeah, he just seems like a different player back there where he's starting to understand. Mike LaFleur talked all week about operating within the phone booth where sometimes it might feel like pressure is there when you actually have room to throw the football. You mentioned the offensive line. They did a great job. But with that being said, you never sensed that he was trying to escape the pocket when he shouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, he was keeping his eyes down the field. He wasn't quick to scramble, to run and break the pocket, and really just trusted his offensive line and trusted the fact that his receivers were going to find a way to get open. And playing against man-to-man coverage, sometimes you have to wait for them to get that separation a little extra. And that offensive line did a great job of protecting and giving him that extra second or two that he needed to find his open receivers. But it just shows a lot about his growth, about his maturity and understanding the defense and how complex it is. At the beginning of the year, he would have thrown a couple of interceptions. He would have forced some plays, but you're starting to see his growth. He's seeing the defenses. He's slowing things down and making the right decision.
And I don't care who you are. You go 4 games without an interception, you're doing something right. Sometimes you got to have fortuitous bounces. There's no doubt about that. But he is making the right decisions. And today, it was just clean and crisp throughout the game. Even though the Jets lost, we go back to the 4th and 2, 24-20. They got in position to win the game. I mean, you could have kicked the field goal there, but I like that the Jets went for it, like you said. But they didn't go away after Brady started his run. They got to the 7-yard line with that drive.
Right. Their confidence never wavered. Even when, as the game started, got off to a great start, they kept throwing punches at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then they weathered the storm of the Buccaneers. They took some punches as well, but their confidence never wavered. They continued to fight, continued to believe in one another and the coaches, and went out there and executed. Put themselves in position, got down to a 4th and 2, and unfortunately weren't able to execute. But you got to give them credit. They're starting to grow. They're starting to understand this and gain some confidence in one another. And this, I'm telling you, when you look at the team, they're missing so many pieces. But when you see these young players come together, believe in the coaches, and go out there and execute, it's exciting as a Jets fan.
The Jets are on the rise. There's no doubt about that. Lorenzo Fatukasi, good game in the middle of that defense. 4 tackles, 2 stops behind the line of scrimmage. Ethan Greenberg talked to him after this one.
Now joined by Jets defensive lineman Lorenzo Fatukasi. Foley in the locker room after a loss like this. What is the message from the coaches to the team?
Listen, the coaches are just like, and we all agree with this. It's just like, man, no one is ever happy with a loss. There's no such thing as a moral victory. But we took a step today as a team, a step in the path of growth, especially going up against, like Tom Brady. But obviously we have to just, continue to work and keep making those steps to grow. And eventually, with as much work that we're putting in, it's all going to come together, from top to bottom, from beginning to end.
If a game like this, Foley, was, let's say, step 1 in growth, what's step 2? What's the missing piece here moving forward?
Listen, it's hard to, put them in order. It's hard to put them, in certain places, man. It's just like, especially in this game, there's so many areas that you have to work on and sharpen. So the bottom line for us is that we have to, once again, go and watch this film and see what we did well, grow from that, and see what we did wrong and what we didn't do well, and grow from that as well. So, and that could be pulled in so many different areas.
Foley, it feels like you had a very good game in your first game back after missing a couple. What was it like for you to be back on the field? And also, did you feel like you played at a high level? Because from afar, it seemed like you did.
It felt great to be back. It's just like, man, when you miss time away from your brothers, it's just like, dog, like you don't want to miss the time, and you realize that this is a profession that you want to do. It's nothing like this, being out there with the guys and just being able to, be physical, with each other side by side. But we lost the game today. So my performance alone doesn't matter, because it's a collective thing. And, we gave it up a little bit at the end, and I really do wish we were able to close it out. But once again, we just got to come together and work, because we got one more great opponent, and they're pretty good, man. And we got to take what we need to take from this game and take it into the next game and grow from it.
Awesome, Foley. Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Much love, baby.
Welcome back to Jets Overtime, presented by Nissan. The Buccaneers win this one today, 28-24 over the New York Jets. The Jets have one game remaining. That is next week in Buffalo against the playoff-bound Bills. Eric, Lorenzo Faticasi, obviously disappointed, but to a man, I think those players are seeing the progress. And the belief tank, it's on full here.
Absolutely. I mean, it was great to see Lorenzo perform that well. You know, he's playing against arguably the best center in the NFL right now, a great offensive line with several Pro Bowlers, and the defensive line was able to keep Tom Brady off balance, to stop that run, and just cause havoc all game long. And it was really exciting. It's great to see when that defensive line plays well. It helps the defensive backs, forces errant throws. That's when you get interceptions. Give C.J. Mosley an opportunity to roam free and make the plays that he makes. And, it's going to take an effort from the entire team like it did today to come up with these wins. But they're young, they're learning from it, and they're continuing to get better.
21 carries for the Buccaneers today, 62 yards. That's 3 yards a carry. Conversely, we talk about the Jets' success on the ground. They're close to where they want to be in terms of what they are doing at the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely. I mean, you saw what the Jets did in that fourth quarter in a drive where they needed to wind down the clock, in a drive where they needed to take some time off to go put points on the board. They were able to run the ball well. I thought the young running backs ran well. The offensive line dictated the tempo of the game, and it was just the offensive linemen love run blocking. I mean, they love it. If you ask them, before a game, what would you rather do? They want to go run block. They want to take the fight to that defensive line. They want to lean on them, put that pressure on the D-line, tire them out, and it makes their job so much easier as an offensive line. And the team loves it. It gives you energy. It gives the defense energy. When you see the offense out there running the football well, it just gets you excited because you're resting. You know that defense is worn down. And when it's time for you to go out there, you do what the Jets did today, which was perform well on the defensive side of the ball for the most part and execute.
This is a post-game show. We're talking mostly about the Jets, but their opponent today was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have to ask you your thoughts on what the heck happened there in the third quarter with Antonio Brown. Seemed like he was having a heated conversation with Mike Evans. Before you knew it, his pads were off, his jersey was off, he was bare-chested, and he was either signaling deuces or the peace sign to fans, and he was out the door.
Yeah, I mean, it was sad for me to see. To understand what all the people that believed in Antonio Brown coming into this and took a chance and stuck their neck out to fight for him for another opportunity. It's sad to see it end like this. Obviously Antonio needs some help. I think mentally he needs some help, but you just hate to see it. As a player, as a teammate, as an opponent, you hate to see guys in their career because it took so much work for Antonio to get to the point of his career where he is right now. He all the hard work in the offseason, all the sacrifices that you make, and now you end it this way and tarnish your name and burn those bridges. It's just really unfortunate.
It's such a tough situation because you never know what anybody else in life is going through. With that being said, you're hoping that everyone who's participating as a member of one of these NFL teams are buying in and want to be part of the collective. So it's just a tough sight that I don't think anybody wants to see, whether you root for the Jets, you root for the Buccaneers, or you're just an NFL fan altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you're not just whoever you're having that argument, whether you won the argument or not, but you're leaving your brothers out there. You have, 53 other guys who are out there depending on Antonio Brown to go out there and do his job, to carry his weight. And, he left his teammates out there and it almost cost him. You look at the end of that game, they needed all those wide receivers. If you think they couldn't have used a big play out of their star receiver, you're crazy. So it's just disappointing that he let his teammates down. That's who's disappointing the most. He let his teammates down. He let his family down, and he'll be hurting about this one for a while.
After the game, Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians said that Antonio Brown is no longer a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. We'll have to see how that story unfolds from here. But if you're a Jets fan, Eric, a lot of things to be encouraged about, but it was a nightmare ending because this is Brady. This is Brady coming to you in your dreams once again and spoiling another great moment.
Yeah, it really is. And going into the second half, going into halftime, when the Buccaneers were going down there, they were driving. I'm like, oh man, I've seen this before. The Buccaneer Tom Brady's going to get the ball to start the third quarter. He goes down at the end of the half and scores. And the Jets were able to come up with the turnover. It was looking great. They weathered the storm, playing well, got themselves in a great position. And Tom Brady, he pokes his head out. He shows his greatness. I mean, the Jets forced him to throw the ball 50 times. That's more than any quarterback should be throwing the football. And, he made them earn it. The Jets made them earn every point, every yard today. And Tom Brady really just showed why he's great. But it all could have been ended if they could have converted that 4th and 2.
Yeah, the Jets were a couple inches away from winning this game. Bottom line, they're 4-12. This is year 1 under Robert Saleh. All we wanted to see was progress, especially from the young quarterback. And here's the main takeaway. The Jets got their guy. He's 22 years old. Yes, he was born on August 3rd, and nobody's going to accomplish what 44-year-old Tom Brady has accomplished in his career. But if you watch Jets football over the course of this season, you've seen nothing but growth from Zach Wilson. And there are some promising players around him. You have financial flexibility to make some moves internally, also externally. But you don't want to build this thing through free agency. You want to build it through the draft. And the Jets are likely to have 2 top 10 picks coming up in April. And again, they have their quarterback of the future, number 2E, Zach Wilson.
Absolutely. Zach Wilson is a terrific talent, and he has so much room to grow. Just a fantastic. He's growing into a great leader. He's getting the football game down. He's getting this NFL thing down. But not only did they strike on the quarterback, I think they struck on the coach. Coach Saleh, in the way that his message gets across to these players, the way that they're prepared, the way they go out there and execute week in and week out, even with all these players out, with star players injured, guys on the COVID list, all the odds against them, the Super Bowl champs coming in when we're not having the best year, they still go out there and fight. And in their mindset, they know that we're going to go out there and win. And I can't wait to see how this continues to blossom as these players get healthy and they get more experience. You add a couple of more pieces into it. If I'm a Jets fan, I'm really excited about the future of this team.
Outstanding point from Eric Coleman. Great analysis as always. Didn't go the Jets' way today. And I don't know if Robert Saleh and Zach Wilson eat avocado ice cream, but the Jets are pointed in the right direction. Don't let this outcome fool you. Look at what your own eyes just witnessed. This team is growing. The future is so promising if you are a Jets fan. There is something to be excited about. Yeah, Tom Brady gets the final laugh in maybe his last appearance against the Jets. But better days are ahead in 2022 and beyond. From everyone here at One Jets Drive, Happy New Year.